Hello on the mic family. I'm your host, Voice Veda, and I have my podcast partner, Vijay.
Hi everyone.
And today we are diving into the world's most important tiny thing, the semiconductor. Yes, that little chip inside your phone, laptop, car, washing machine, smartwatch, smart bulb, maybe even your fridge if it's feeling fancy. These chips are small, silent, and invisible, but in 2025 and beyond, they are shaping economies, geopolitics, jobs, innovation, national security, and your daily routine more than any other technology. So, for the next 15 minutes, we are trying to break down the semiconductor industry in the most human, friendly, no jargon way possible. So, think of it as a fun aerial tour of the chip world, what's happening, why it matters, and how it quietly controls everything around us. Ready? Let's switch on the circuit on the mic style.
Yeah, I think today we have got a very interesting topic, and Mr. Our voice Veda is going to give us a very interesting perspectives, and he's a tech guy, and you'll be absolutely zapped with this video today. What do you say?
Well, I'm not trying to keep things too technical in that sense.
Okay.
So what is a semiconductor? Well, in plain English, I'm trying to just explain things. Well, a semiconductor is a tiny slice of material, usually silicon, that acts like a smart gatekeeper for electricity. Sometimes it lets electricity pass, sometimes it stops it, like a traffic signal for electrons. So, from this simple behavior, every modern machine is born.
Hey, Chakri, I got one question because
Sure.
you've got very profound knowledge in this particular area. So when you're talking the semiconductor chips and we have AI chips, like are they both connected, or like when you say semiconductor chip, are you actually telling that these are AI chips?
Very much they use in the AI chips
So
as
you're
well.
saying the backbone of an AI chip, like which NVIDIA produces,
Of
or like
course.
Google is doing, or Amazon is
Right.
doing, it's like precisely the semiconductor chips.
Very true.
So we are talking on AI chips in a way, but underline technically we call it as semiconductor.
Right. Right.
So is that the reason like China and US has a followed, because US does not want to give their semiconductor chips to China because they can, like China is like master of copy.
There is always a trade war in this. So naturally, every country, they try to put their national interests, bigger than the rest of the other country.
And then China is the master of copyright. You give them the original chip, and they come with something very duplicate and as original as
Right,
possible. So, sorry to stop the flow.
No, that's fine.
Let's get into the next segment.
Right. So then, why are semiconductors so important? Because everything smart needs a chip, from phones to missiles to medical devices. If electricity is the blood of technology, semiconductors are the brain cells. So no chips, no tech, and hence there is no progress. So one chip is equal to thousands of steps. Seriously. So making a semiconductor is like making a wedding cake with dust-free rooms, then lasers, then nanometer precision, and billion-dollar machines.
Wow, this is very interesting. So, is that the reason that as a country of India, like we are started investing in this particular area?
Certainly, this is one go-to area where we have lots of potential to bring in a new technology. I would say to have new hubs and new setups.
Okay.
So in that sense, it takes over 1,000+ steps to manufacture one advanced chip.
Wow.
So it is the most complex manufacturing process humans have ever created, at least.
I think interesting facts, guys. I think I'll be keep on disturbing our voice weather because I want it to be like interesting and so that audience can also understand on a lighter note. Over to you.
Right. Then why is the world fighting over chips? I think precisely this is where your question came a while ago.
Exactly.
Well, whoever controls chips controls AI defense, AI defense, economy, innovation, surveillance, and digital power. So it is not about basically silicon, it is about sovereignty.
And do you think is America the unproven leader in this space now?
So far, yes, certainly. Because
Who is catching up there?
USA certainly has that heads up. So China is a little far behind, but certainly these are the two big players at this time we have. And certainly India is trying to put their feet strongly in that space.
Sure.
And just to add a few points. So chips are the new oil in a sense. So chip factories are the new battlefields.
Yeah.
And chip engineers are the new warriors. So, and here we have the when it comes to the chips and all that, the unsung hero that we get to hear is Taiwan. Because Taiwan is considered to be the unsung hero of the chip universe.
Wow, that's an interesting fact. I never knew that.
Well, Taiwan's TSMC makes about 90% of the world's most advanced chips. Yes, literally 90%.
90%?
Very true.
That's mind-boggling.
One of the reasons why China wants to, grab Taiwan.
No, I was about to ask that, but I don't want to deviate that off. Maybe you started reading me what's there in my mind. But I was just about to ask, but I don't want to disturb the flow.
No. That means if Taiwan slows, the world slows.
Okay.
If Taiwan stops, the world stops.
Okay. So now the world understands why China wants Taiwan.
Very
Not because of the culture or the origin, only for the chips.
The cat is out of the bag.
Yeah.
So your phone, your laptop, your car, all depends on this one island called Taiwan.
Wow.
So the US, China, Europe, India, everyone wants this chip independence. Because relying on one region is risky. At least going from the past, the current scenarios and experiences, no, because there is a lot of dependency for, say, for example, oil or any other technology that you take. You have got so much of dependency, so much of this tariff trade wars. You can see all that.
Can we? I'll sorry to stop you, but one thing, audience, why we are putting up a lot of stress on semiconductor competition and all. At least in the energy market, you have a lot of countries, you have Middle East, like the OPEC, we have Venezuela, we have Russia, and a lot of players or places where we can get. But in the semiconductor, I hope we don't have such sort of an ecosystem or that sort of a supply. That's right. Am I right?
Because that is just like, I know it's not
more monopolistic sort of.
Right, very true. And probably it needs to have more of what do you call policies that needs to be designed, maybe within the country, across the countries, or maybe at the global level. Maybe that's still work in progress, I would say.
And what you have said that the initial part of the discussion, it might require more than 1,000 steps to get one small chip.
Very true, very true.
And the affordability or the amount of cost that goes into set up that sort of a factories and all could be what's a high capital industry. That could be one of the reason, and the world is not prepared yet, except for the few countries.
Not yet, because for one single chip or for one small chip, what I heard sometime back was it takes at least 3 to 4 billions of pure water that goes behind in manufacturing of a particular chip, semiconductor chip.
But one out of question, I know, I'm disturbing you today so much, and wanted to come out of your comfort zone.
Right.
So, do you think Africa could be a leading player, let's say, as a global South India wanted to position, we because Africa has the water resources and all. Can it be if someone can think of that?
Certainly, because Africa is one place where it is still a long way, because that's an untapped potential that the continent has. See, what I understand from this entire ecosystem is you need to have huge amount of water bodies.
Wow.
So because that's one reason why China is has certainly a better edge.
Okay.
Because of they know where the potentiality of the water is located.
Okay. Got it.
Because India is still not yet there. We're trying to get into that foray.
I recently heard that Tata is getting doing something, and after the SCO summit, I think Mr. Modi ji, Prime Minister, has launched some chip, Indian-made chip.
Certainly, the government is making its steps towards having our own setup, our own hub. Probably they might be collaborating with the
Different
big
nations,
sub-
but it would be make in India product.
Certainly, they want to probably they might collaborate with Tata's
At the private space.
at the private space. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Like what's there in the kitty next?
Right. Because so the world is now in a race to build fab plants and attract chip engineers and fund chip R&D, because all these things are very much essential to have a proper establishment. Secure the chip supply chain and ensure chips for defense systems. So it's the closest thing we have seen to an industrial gold rush in decades.
Wow. I think one good news earlier, like if you look at the engineering students, like the BTech guys, like only computer science was on the bull run. But with the semiconductor, I think the electronics and electrical engineering guys, I think you will see
Certainly, they're going to be high in demand.
very, very big bull run in the coming years.
Very
So
good.
shift your
Gears.
And
then AI made chips even more valuable, because of late we know how people are relying on this chat GPT, then self-driving cars, robotics, medical imaging. Everything AI relies on super powerful chips called GPUs and accelerators.
Wow.
So the more AI grows, the more chips matter. And the more chips matter, then the more politics erupts.
I think that's the reason NVIDIA is like, they have got a valuation of like $5 trillion, like, which is like tremendous.
So true.
Because they have that NVIDIA produces the GPU chips and all. Right.
So, and now the chip supply chain is a global jigsaw puzzle. No single country can do everything. A typical chip involves materials from Japan, then design from the US, manufacturing from Taiwan, equipment from Holland, assembly from Malaysia or Vietnam, and consumers everywhere. It's cooperation held together by competition.
It's a perfectly, global delivery model.
Very true.
And currently, we are actually traveling away from the global delivery model, so it would pose little bit of challenge.
Very true, very true. And there is a potential question one could ask: why are chip factories so insanely expensive? Because a state-of-the-art fab costs anywhere between $10 to $20 billion.
Oh, God.
Takes 3 to 5 years to build, then has clean rooms cleaner than any hospital. So we can think of the hygiene here, how much we need to maintain there. Needs ultra-skilled engineers, then requires global supply coordination. So building one is like building a mini city focused entirely on precision.
I think it's very, very high tech-intensive industry, which involves huge capital and it requires precise knowledge base.
Very true. Only subject matter experts are very much or high in demand here. Yeah. So India's semiconductor dream, the 2025 to 2026 picture. So India isn't trying to beat Taiwan or the US overnight. India is focusing on design talent. We're trying to establish our own, start up our own establishment by focusing on design talent, assembly and packaging, then strategic partnerships, skilling engineers, then building ecosystems, long-term patient growth.
I want to add one more point here. This year, India has launched 1 lakh crore funds for the startups, and they especially wanted to focus on this chips and semiconductors.
Very true.
1 lakh crores is quite huge, which Indian government has never done. Realizing the high capital potential industry and why it is required, I think they put that sort of a fund.
Very true. Very true. And just to add a point to your observation, India already has 20% of the world's chip design engineers.
Super.
So what's the goal now then? To slowly move from design hub to manufacturing hub. So that's a space that we are aiming at. And why is India pushing for semiconductors? Because it wants self-reliance, secure supply chains, then more jobs, high-tech investments, then stronger national security, and a bigger global role. So semiconductors are not just business anymore, they are the strategy.
Yeah, definitely. I think the steps which the government is taking are definitely positive, and shifting the gears where we have to be there in the next 5 to 10 years.
Very true. And coming to the skill revolution, India's youth plus chip industry. So India's biggest advantage is its people. 2026 onwards, chip skills like VLSI, embedded systems, chip testing, packaging tech are becoming the coolest new career paths. This is the engineer era, and India has engineers in every lane.
Please take that as CHIP, chip skills, not cheap skills. So,
Right. A good one.
Yeah.
So, what challenges does India face? Let's be honest. Fabs need huge investment. Water and power stability. Just a while ago, I mentioned the very importance of having a good amount of water resources.
Yes.
Specialized talent, long-term planning, global competition, and supply chain dependencies. So chips are a marathon, not a sprint.
Yes.
But India has worn its running shoes. So why should you care about semiconductors? Because they decide the price of your phone, the safety of your country, the growth of your city, the future of your job, the speed of your internet, and the reality of AI around you. So chips shape your life, even if you never see them.
Just wanted to add one more point here, very interesting one. Ops Sindur 1.0, where people were talking of BrahMos and all. I think one thing that stole the entire show and which shocked the entire world is our air defense system, Akash Steel. And it is based on artificial intelligence, and wherever there is artificial intelligence,
chips are very much there.
Chips are very much there. So
very true.
We have seen the success, and the reason for success, semiconductors.
Very true. And that on the mic is your human-friendly, fun-sized overview of the semiconductor universe, the tiny world controlling our giant one. So here is a big thought to leave you with. A semiconductor is small enough to balance on your fingertip, but powerful enough to tilt the global balance of power. So technology is no longer just convenience. It is geopolitics. It is economics. It is national strength, and it's personal opportunity. So next time your phone hangs, your laptop heats, or your car glitches, remember one thing. There is a tiny chip inside doing the hardest job in the world.
Definitely, but ensure that's not a Chinese chip. Data could be espionage.
Well, with this, I'm your host, Voice Veda. This is On the Mic. And if you enjoyed this microscopic tour for massive industry, hit share, like, subscribe, drop a comment, and stay curious. See you in the next episode.
Please like, share, subscribe. Subscription is mandatory on the Mic. See you all.
All right. With this, good night. Har Har Mahadev. Jai Hind.